We have some breaking news right now. The United States Supreme Court has just sided with the Trump administration in a 5-4 decision, allowing deportations under the Alien Enemies Act to begin once again. The decision today is an interesting one. It's a 5-4 decision with the 4 female justices, Justice Coney Barrett, Justice Jackson, Justice Kagan, and Justice Sotomayor in dissent. The majority essentially holds that while the Trump administration can use the Alien Enemies Act to deport Venezuelans over the age of 14, those who are subject to deportation must have fair notice and must be able to reasonably challenge the deportation through habeas corpus proceedings. But all in all, this is a win for the Trump administration because it grants them the ability to conduct these fast-track deportations under the Alien Enemies Act, which is a wartime authority. I'm reading through the opinion now. I'll have a full breakdown shortly on my Substack, so be sure to subscribe for free at the link in my bio and follow along for all the news you need to know about. More to come.
President Trump is about to invoke the Alien Enemies Act. The law allows the president with unfettered discretion to arrest and deport groups of people without any hearing. Under the law, there are 3 possibilities to unlock President Trump's powers. 1, to deport people who are citizens of nations that we are at war with. 2, to deport people from countries that are invading the United States of America. Or 3, a predatory invasion by groups of people across the border. Under the law, the president has to make a proclamation that this event is happening, a declared war, an invasion, or a predatory incursion. Once he does this, people who are from nations at countries that we're at war with, that are invading us, that has a predatory incursion against us, would be subject to be arrested and removed from the United States without hearing, because they would be considered possible enemy combatants. It doesn't apply to people who are dual citizens of the United States or nationals of the United States, and obviously does not apply to citizens of the United States. Trump's proclamation to invoke the Alien Enemies Act is only going to apply to people who are members of gangs and drug cartels, not the average undocumented immigrant, whatever that means. However, the concern is, 1, are we actually being invaded? Are we at war? And 2, how many innocent immigrants are going to get caught up in this, accused of being a gang member, accused of being part of a cartel when they have nothing to do with it, and then summarily removed? So one of 3 things is going to happen. Once Trump invokes the Alien Enemies Act, there will be lawsuits, and judges will have to decide if there's an invasion. Or 2, Congress can declare an invasion. Or 3, Congress can change the Alien Enemies Act and say it covers illegal immigrants. Most people doubt that Congress will change the law or declare a war, so it will be up to the judges to determine if they want to get involved in defining what an invasion is, or give deference to the president to say an invasion is whatever President Trump says it is.
It has come to my attention that Donald Trump has invoked the Alien Enemies Act tonight. And that warranted me getting up off of the couch, turning on the lights, and getting out the microphone that I have never used. Why? Because I need to try to keep my blood pressure down. I am anticipating that this is going to get... Okay. I need you guys to listen to me. Oh my God. Here are the things that you need to know about the Alien Enemies Act. It is only used in wartime. It was made to be used only in wartime. And the last time I checked, we're not involved in a war. Are we? I can feel my heart beating. And that's never a good sign. The last time that this act was invoked was in December of 1941. Have you ever heard of the Japanese internment camps by chance? This is widely regarded as one of the darkest times in our history. You may have heard about it, but I don't know if you know how bad it was. I don't know if you know how ugly it was, and I don't know if you know what we're in store for. In December of 1941, Roosevelt declared that Japanese, Italian, and Germans were our enemies. And yet, for some reason, they decided to round up Japanese Americans. They rounded up the Germans and Italians on a much, much, much smaller scale. And a lot of them were just forced to register and could still go about their lives. 120,000 Japanese were rounded up. I am talking about citizens. I am talking about Japanese American citizens. Of the 120,000 people that they rounded up, 2/3 of those 120,000 were American citizens. They were given 24 to 72 hours to close up their businesses, sell their effects, leave their homes, leave their families. And they went to a processing center. Terrible conditions at the processing center. I think it was like at a racetrack or something like that. And then they were shipped off to any number of facilities, camps, literally areas wrapped in barbed wire fencing. They were held there until 1944. December of 41 to 1944, 120,000 Japanese and Japanese Americans were in camps spread out throughout the country, mostly on the West Coast. The conditions were horrific. There was often not enough food or water. Overcrowding was a problem. Sanitation was a problem. If you don't think that's what's about to happen, how did they get around rounding up citizens when this was meant to be during wartime only? And that was during World War II, that was a war. But how did they get around the fact that this was meant for non-citizens? Well, there was an executive order, silly. Executive Order 9066 that authorized them to round them all up, because we don't know if they're spies. We don't know where their allegiances fall. Fuck them all. This was obviously on the heels of Pearl Harbor, right? Think about that. Think about that. There is one attack, and the hysteria that followed, that manufactured the consent of the masses. People okay with rounding up all of the Japanese, regardless of their citizenship status. Because I don't know. I don't know what they could be up to. I don't know what that guy's capable of. He's Japanese. It's hysterical behavior. And if you don't see a pattern here, if your pattern recognition is that fucked up, in 1945, when they were finally released, They were allowed to go back to their lives, but there was no support. If they didn't still have family out that still had the house, what happened to them? What happened to them? The government did not give them reparations until 1988, 43 years later. And that was to surviving relatives to the tune of $20,000. That was pursuant to the Civil Liberties Act of 1988. Ronald Reagan formally apologized and blamed the political climate and hysteria, literally mass hysteria and racism. So I think it's kind of funny that we continue to repeat things, are the mistakes that we've made. We continue to walk headfirst into the same shit we've already done and apologized to people for. The enemy just looks different now, and you guys are okay with it. I blame the education system. We don't actually teach this shit. I remember touching on the internment camps lightly, because I want to believe that if you motherfuckers knew what we did to our friends and neighbors in 1941, I would like to think that you would be more cautious about cheering on this crazy fucking bullshit. We are not at war. He's invoked it, claiming that it's to deport Venezuelan gang members. It's not a war. He says that they have infiltrated our country. But once it's invoked, he gets to use it for whatever the fuck he wants. This is very scary. This is very scary.